In this lesson, you're going to learn how to take high social value Instagram photos. And it's easier than you think. At this point, I've spoken to so many people about online dating and what it takes to actually succeed with online dating. And whenever I mention the Instagram portion of the funnel, the first objection that guys will give me is, I don't want to be one of those social media addicts. I want to live in the now. I want to be present. I don't want to document everything I'm doing and live in my phone. Listen, I agree with you. In fact, I barely post on Instagram. Just like every other part of the funnel, when you create it, you're pretty much done. There is some minor maintenance work you have to do every now and then, but it's not that hard. It doesn't take that much time. Now, on the other hand, if you're actively posting pictures on Instagram, you need to be willing to stop. I'm sorry, social media addicts, but the truth is, if you consistently post new pictures, you're making a big mistake. All that really matters is your first 2 rows. I call this the first 2 rows rule. Anything below the first 2 rows doesn't really matter. Here's the psychology of why. In a previous video, I talked about this idea in marketing called below the fold. The fold is essentially the line at which you have to scroll. So everything below the fold is not as important as everything above the fold. Just like on a landing page, the most important information is given to you before you have to scroll. Here's an example of a landing page. Do you see how all the information that you need to know is right there in front of you? And then when you scroll down, there's additional information. But most people are not going to scroll down. Most people will look at a page and decide instantly based on the information if they even want to scroll. So you need to make sure that everything above the fold is killer. So let's take a look at my Instagram. Everything above the fold is these first 2 rows. Everything below it, doesn't matter. As you can see, as we go lower, my pictures start to get shittier. But everything right here on top looks pretty good. Like I said earlier, I'm not a social media addict. I don't like spending all my time on my phone. So what I realized was after filling up the first 2 rows with good pictures, I didn't have to keep going. And the only reason that I came to this conclusion is because I understand marketing, and I've learned about this idea of making sure that the most critical information is above the fold. And so I applied this rule to my Instagram, and it works beautifully. I don't have to do a bunch of work to keep posting new pictures. Once you fill up the first 2 rows, you've reached the 80-20. When I say 80-20, I mean you've done something that accomplishes 80% of the job, and you've only put in about 20% of the effort. To get to 100%, you would basically have to become an Instagram influencer, which you don't need to do. Now that you understand the importance of the first 2 rows, you need to view that real estate as precious. And this is why I post so infrequently. My first 2 rows are good. If I were to post a picture that wasn't as good as what I already had in my first 2 rows, I am now going to be pushing pictures down. Because if I post a new picture of, let's say, my meal that I ate today, then the 6th picture on my Instagram is now going to be on the 3rd row. And I don't want that 6th picture to be on the 3rd row. The only time I'll put up a new picture is if it's better than what I already have. So let's talk about what not to post in the first 2 rows. Memes. Do not post memes on your IG. I wouldn't post this anywhere on your IG, let alone the first 2 rows. But for some reason, a lot of guys do this. They post their favorite memes as a way of trying to be funny. But the thing about memes is it doesn't display high social value. And that's what this is all about. If you want to attract the top 1% of model quality women, you need to display high social value. And memes don't do that. Scenic shots. This is something that is a little bit counterintuitive because you might think, I want to post pictures of a waterfall that I went to or a beautiful mountain or this amazing cabin I was staying in. Sure, post those things if you're in the picture, but don't post pictures of just a view or a sunset. The sunset thing is pretty funny because sunsets are beautiful and you want to share them. If you really want to share scenic shots, and you like taking scenic shots, share that stuff in your Instagram story where it disappears after a day. Don't put it on your main feed. Your main feed's purpose is to display a high-value man. And in order to display a high-value man, you have to physically be in the pictures. Think about a girl's experience as she's going to your Instagram. Maybe she came from Tinder and she wants to know what your life is all about. She's looking for you. She wants to see you. She does not want to see a fucking sunset. Next, we have food and other things that have nothing to do with showing that you have high social value. I think you get the point. If you're not in the picture, don't post it. No one cares what you ate for lunch. No one cares that your poke bowl looks amazing. Just save that stuff for your story. And honestly, even then, I wouldn't recommend posting that stuff on a consistent basis, even if it's just on your story. We'll get into Instagram stories and story highlights in a later video, but for now, just keep in mind this idea that your Instagram is your landing page, a landing page that is going to display you as a high social value man that is on a fucking rocket ship in life. Now, let's talk about what you should post in the first 2 rows. You should be posting your best dating app pics. If you've already gotten to the point where you've taken 1,000 pictures and you've picked the top 3, then put those 3 on your Instagram. So if you look at my Instagram, you'll see that I have my Tinder pictures and my dating app pictures on my feed. They're good pictures. They show me in a good light. Of course, I'm going to put them on my IG in the first 2 rows. Next is interesting social circle. In the last video, I talked about not posting pictures of you hanging out with your bros wearing fucking pajamas as you smoked a bong around a table. Those types of pictures don't show someone that has high social value. Take a look at this picture that I posted. It's a Polaroid, and by the way, Polaroids are a great hack for getting good pictures. It's almost like you're filtering the picture without actually putting some cheesy filter on it, because a Polaroid is kind of classy. And in this picture, I'm hanging out with my friends on New Year's, and I tagged them, and all my friends are cool, successful people. And here's the thing. If a girl is curious about you and she's thinking about going on a date with you, trust me, she is going to be clicking those tags. She wants to know who you're hanging out with. And if when she clicks it, she sees that these people are also cool, she's going to associate that coolness with you. Because if they seem cool, then you're probably cool too. Because cool, interesting, fun people hang out with other people that are like them. Okay, this next one is so important. We've talked about this before, but these candidly caught laughing pictures. And this is my candidly caught laughing picture. You need to have at least one of these. A huge mistake that guys make is every picture on their profile will be serious. What's funny is male models actually do this a lot. They never look like they're having fun. Every picture is super serious, super dramatic. When a girl sees that, she's going to imagine what it's like to hang out with you, imagine what it's like to be on a date with you. And if you look serious, that doesn't sound very fun. Next is travel and exploration. This is huge. Now, what's really cool about this is it seems like it's hard to get cool travel pictures. You might think you need to be standing underneath a waterfall with a fucking amazing camera. No. The hack to this is just taking a normal picture somewhere cool. It doesn't have to look cool. It doesn't have to look exotic, but putting in your description that you've been traveling. This is the hack that I do. We're going to get into how to write these descriptions next, but for now, all you have to know is if you just write that you've been traveling, people will associate that picture with you traveling, even if it doesn't look super obvious. Next is you working on your passion. This goes back to the idea of being a rocket ship. And this doesn't mean you need to be hunched over on a corner on your laptop, grinding away and you want someone to take a picture of you. This also has to do with your descriptions underneath your picture. If you just write about the things you're working on and write about your life, that will make you come across as someone who is working on their passion, someone who's a fucking rocket ship. And I'm going to tell you how to do this in the next video where we talk about writing your bio and writing descriptions. But look at my IG. This is super basic. Let's scroll down for fun. Let's look at how many pictures I have here. Oh, it's over? That's it? I don't have many pictures here. And if you scroll up to the top, you'll see I have a lot of story highlights. We're going to get to that. Those are so important. And I have a great bio. And the bio is this part right here. And I'm going to show you how to write a killer one as well. It's super simple. And the reason I have so few pictures is because I archived almost everything. You want to archive all photos that might display low value. Archiving is basically deleting a picture from your Instagram feed, but not actually deleting it. And so the way that you want to archive pictures, let's just say, for example, I want to archive this one. You click the 3 dots in the corner and you just click archive and the picture gets archived. And this is great because it's not actually deleted. It's just put in a separate folder. Let me show you how to get to that. You just click on the top right here and then you'll see archive. And then you want to click on the top where it says archive and click posts. And you'll see here, there is my picture that I just archived. I'm going to unarchive this because I want to keep it there. And you'll see also there's a bunch of pictures here with my ex, but we're going to ignore that. Yeah, I did. I archived all the pictures with my ex. And by the way, if you have pictures of your ex on your IG, obviously archive that shit. It's not doing anyone any favors. Get rid of it. But you want to be really ruthless here. I archived 90% of my pictures, which is why I barely have any pictures on my Instagram. But you don't need that many. You just need enough to give someone a picture of who you are. Now, does it matter how many followers you have? No. This might seem weird coming from someone that kind of has a decent amount of followers, but all that really matters is engagement ratio. And I'm going to prove to you in a second that it doesn't matter how many followers you have. But for now, all that matters is engagement ratio, which means if you have, let's just say, 1,000 followers, but you're only getting 10 likes per picture, there's something wrong there. Honestly, it kind of seems like you just bought fake followers. You'll see this actually with a lot of accounts that do buy fake followers. They'll have a ton of people following them, but then you look at their pictures and their ratio of likes to how many followers they have doesn't make sense. An accurate number is about 25% of the amount of followers you have should be liking your picture. Again, this is not something consciously that girls are thinking about, but subconsciously, it's just a little bit off. It's like when you talk to someone and they have some food in their teeth. You don't hate the person, but you're like, bro, I can't really pay attention to what you're saying right now because you got some food in your teeth. Same thing with this. It's like, I want to talk to you, but something's wrong here. Something feels off. So now let's talk about the difference followers makes. I have around 20,000 followers. David, who's the person that's been on this journey with me the entire time and is responsible for more than 50% of this information, has about 600 followers. And when we started testing, I expected our results to be different. Honestly, I thought I would see better results than him because I have more followers. I have more quote-unquote clout. However, our results were literally the same. I really expected there to be some sort of difference, but I do have a theory as to why I didn't see any sort of difference between David and I. My theory is that it might only be obvious at higher levels of internet fame. Once you're at 500,000 or 1 million followers, sure, you might start to see some sort of difference. But below that, not really. Arya, who's one of my best friends, is a social media influencer. He has around 98,000 or 100,000 Instagram followers. We were both running the exact same funnel in cities we were traveling to. And guess what? Our results were exactly the same. And I've tested this with other people that have large followings, all the way up to a friend who wants to remain anonymous, who has 400,000 followers on Instagram. And my results were actually better than his because he made fundamental mistakes with his pictures and with his high social value vibe. He was posting things like memes on his account, which is great for his purposes. He's an influencer. He makes a living being an influencer. So for him, posting memes is conducive towards that. But when it came to reaching out to girls and cold DMing, I was doing better than someone that had 400,000 followers only because my account displayed a high social value man better than his. And so basically, your follower count does not matter. All that matters is your engagement ratio, and as long as that ratio looks healthy, it looks normal, you're totally fine. Coming up next, I'm going to talk about picture descriptions and creating a bio. I'm going to go through every single one of my pictures in the first 2 rows and show you why I picked that picture, why I wrote the description below it that I did, and then I'm going to show you how to write a bio that shows off that you're a high-value man. There's some clever psychology in the way that I frame my description and my bio, and I'm so excited to share it with you. I'll see you in the next video.